What's going on, King of Kings family? Pastor Eric here. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope you're doing well. I'm starting a new weekly video that I want to try to put out each week called Beyond Sunday. And really the goal of this video, it's going to be here live in the Facebook group, and then I'll post the replay, which will also be available in the Facebook group when the live is over. But I'm also going to post it over on YouTube. I know we've got a number of folks that don't do Facebook. But my goal of this is to help equip you to follow Jesus with others beyond Sunday morning. And so I'm going to be taking the sermon from Sunday and maybe highlighting an aspect of it, or maybe touching on something that I didn't get to talk about on that Sunday, and try to draw out some practicals for that. So hopefully that this helpful. These videos will be 5-10 minutes long or so. But this last Sunday I talked about the life that Jesus intended for us to have. And it's this life of abundance where everything that we need for what the life that God has created us for and called us to, everything we need for that life is available to us in Jesus. And the reality is, many of us, and many of those beyond the walls of the church, don't actually live out of that life of abundance. That instead, they live what I would call a life of accumulation. And what a life of accumulation is it's that accumulating of activities in your schedule because you don't feel like you're doing enough, or accumulating stuff that because you don't think you have enough, or accumulating stress because you don't think you are enough, and you're comparing yourself to other people and how far they are versus how far you are, and you want to move forward but you don't know how. And so you accumulate stress. Well, it's that schedule full, stuff full, stressful life that keeps us from the life to the full that Jesus created us for and wants us to have. And so what I want you to consider is, do you live a life of abundance, or do you live a life of accumulation? Do you spend your time focusing on filling up your schedule with every activity possible? Do you see that you don't have enough, whether it's enough money, enough stuff in your house, a nice enough car, any of the material things that we seem to crave? Or do you is it stress? Is it focusing on second guessing decisions that you've made, or the choices that the life choices you've made that have put you where you are in life now, looking at those and saying, gosh, I really messed that up. I shouldn't have pursued this career, or I shouldn't have married this person, or I shouldn't have moved into this house because I'm just not where I want to. Life has not turned out for me the way I hoped, and I'm stressed by that. I'm burdened by that. If that's where you're at, I would just really encourage you today to repent of that, to shift off of that, and to hear the good news that you are enough if you're walking in step with the Spirit, that you already have enough. I mean, you can ask yourself this question: if I bought nothing beside basic necessities of food and water and medicine and clothes as I need them, and just the basic level stuff, if I bought nothing else for the rest of the year, would I have enough? Would I be okay? And for most people, the answer is yes. You can ask yourself that same question as it relates to your schedule. If I added nothing to my schedule, and then for the next year, and left no new activities for my kids, no more hours at work, if I added nothing more to my schedule, would I be doing enough? And I think for most people, the answer would be yes. And I think when we start to ask ourselves those questions and evaluate why it is we fill our schedules the way we do, we fill our lives with stuff the way we do, the way we hold on to stress the way we do, when we start to unpack why we do that, it comes down to not believing that we are enough, or that we are doing enough, or that we have enough. And it reveals that we don't actually believe in the abundance of God. And that lack of belief is not something to feel guilt or shame about, but it is something to say, God, I want to believe. I want to believe in the gospel of enough. Help me in my unbelief. And the good news is that Jesus meets you there, and he begins to show you that the only thing you need to be doing is what he has called you to do. That the only things that you need to have are what it is for the life that he's called you to. And the only stress you need to carry isn't really stress at all. It's if you are the person and you're becoming the person that Jesus has created you to be, you're enough for where you are in that moment. Let Jesus speak into that. Let the voice of the shepherd, that is your birthright to hear as a baptized child of God, remind you and convince you and give you the faith that there is a life of abundance that is available to you. But it really starts with assessing why it is that I chase after this life of accumulating, again, whether it's activities or stuff or stress. What is it? And more often than not, I think most of the time, the underlying belief is that there isn't enough somewhere in there, and that what we really need to do is trust that in Jesus there is enough and more for the life that he has called us to. So that's Beyond Sunday for this week. I hope it helps. Enjoy the rest of your week. I look forward to this Sunday being able to preach. We're going back to our 8:30 and 10 o'clock worship times. So we will see you then. Have a great week. God bless.